Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Vivian Khalaf, and I am a proud supporter of the Jerusalem Fund. Not only of the Jerusalem Fund, but of a specific project of this organization, and that is the Palestine Diabetes Institute. Thank you for being here this evening. I know many of us would have loved to be in the physical presence of each other, but we can't. These are truly unprecedented times, and hopefully they will end soon and we can be back in each other's company. I know many of you on the call and watching this live stream through YouTube have been loyal supporters of the Jerusalem Fund and of the Palestine Diabetes Institute for many, many years. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. The Palestinian people also thank you from the bottom of their hearts. But they not only thank you, they want to tell you that they rely on you. And they wait for this event year after year, because it is only through you and your generous contributions that they can continue to obtain and get the needed medical support to take care of their illnesses. So thank you. Just when things appear to be getting better, God throws another test our way. And this test was a huge one that affected the entire world. The test that I'm talking about is the COVID pandemic, a pandemic that has exacerbated the condition of the Palestinian people who are living under a vicious and brutal Israeli occupation. Not only do they have to deal with the coronavirus and the pandemic, they have to deal with their diabetes. Suffering from diabetes is an added condition that can be alleviated. It can be alleviated through the support and contributions of each and every one of you. Those of you who have chosen to contribute already and that are Zooming in tonight in order to contribute what you can. You will hear more about the Palestine Diabetes Institute and the disease in general as the evening progresses. We have a wonderful program for you this evening, but we also want to be respectful and mindful of everybody's time and the fact that perhaps many of you, like myself, are currently suffering from Zoom fatigue. We get it, we understand, and that's why we thank you and we appreciate you so much. So we want to keep the program moving smoothly and hopefully seamlessly. So with that, I want to introduce a gentleman who really needs no introduction other than to say that he has dedicated both his personal and professional life to helping others. He is a renowned physician, but also a renowned humanitarian who currently serves as the treasurer and vice chair of the board of directors of the Jerusalem Fund. It is with the utmost level of respect and admiration that I introduce to you Dr. Eid Mustafa.
Thank you. You left me speechless with this introduction. And thank you all for being here on a Saturday night where you could have been doing something fun with your families. I want to tell you a very short story about how this project started. Many of my colleagues who are on the call and myself had the honor of volunteering in Palestine over the last 30-some years. You know, many of us were surgeons. We do our best to treat patients, but we ended up helping one patient at a time. During our presence at the hospitals, we toured the clinics. It was heartbreaking to see so many people with inability to walk, sitting in wheelchairs, many with bandaged feet, and many already lost their one or two limbs. It was just as heartbreaking to see a lot of people having kidney dialysis and still many more patients who could not see. The common denominator for all these patients was most of them were diabetic. So we thought that something should be done about that. You know, we continue to help one patient at a time whenever possible. But there are hundreds of thousands of diabetics in Palestine that deal with the disease as, well, a problem that does not deserve the immediate attention it does for them because of the hustles of the occupation, the economic demands on them and their families, the insecurity of being around soldiers, and all that. So they put off treating any problem like diabetes, and many of them don't even know that they have it. So what happens? They end up in those clinics that I mentioned to you. So something had to be done. So we got together and we said, well, we really can put our efforts together and make something happen. So a proposal was made to the Jerusalem Fund Board that accepted that. We cooperated with several organizations, one of which was the National Arab American Medical Association, among others, put the seed money to start the diabetes project in Palestine with the plan to have 4 centers. We now have 3 of them in Al-Biri, Nablus, and Hebron, and hoping that the 4th one will open as soon as it becomes feasible in Gaza. So right now, fast forward, we have 3 centers that are operating, serving tens of thousands of patients. We employ 27 people supporting their families as well. All that while we provide comprehensive care to patients at the highest level to fight this very bad, I call it, silent killer. So having said that, I don't want to belabor the matter anymore. I also wholeheartedly thank you for taking the time for being here, for your donation, for your support. Our people deserve our support. They are staying on the land. Every devilish attempt is being made to get rid of them, but they're staying on the land, and it is our duty to be there for them. Having said that, let's hear it from Palestine.
المعهد الفلسطيني لأمراض السكري مركز طبي غير ربحي متخصص لعلاج مرض السكري ومضاعفاته. قام بتأسيسه مجموعة من الأطباء الفلسطينيين المقيمين في أمريكا، وذلك لتقديم خدمات متكاملة علاجية ووقائية لمرضى السكري في فلسطين. تم تأسيس 3 مراكز في البيرة ونابلس والخليل. المركز يقدم العديد من الخدمات: علاج السكري النوع الثاني للكبار، علاج السكري النوع الأول والغدد الصماء للأطفال. هناك قسم تغذية وفحوصات مخبرية، هذا بالإضافة لقسم للتوعية والتثقيف الصحي، هذا بالإضافة إلى التعاون مع المؤسسات والجامعات بتدريب الطلاب وإجراء الدراسات العلمية. أعمل في فلسطين من عام 1988، وجدت خدمات نوعية تقدم في هذا المركز، والفضل يعود إلى المؤسسين لهذه الجمعية، وأشكر المتبرعين في الداخل وخارج فلسطين لما قدموه من دعم وتعاون لإنجاح هذا المشروع.
شفنا كثير تجاوب كبير من المعهد الفلسطيني بنابلس. أول ما هن طبعاً سمعوا بالفكرة كانوا من أول الداعمين لإلنا. طبعاً من الأشياء الأساسية اللي إحنا نعملها بمنطقة الضفة هو تركيب المضخات للأولاد. هاي المضخة زي ما عيد سارة. المضخة طبعاً تشتغل عمل البنكرياس بس بطريقة خارجية، اللي هي بيكون فيها إنسولين بكفي لمدة 3 أيام.
بالنسبة للخدمات المقدمها في المعهد الفلسطيني لأمراض السكري، أولاً بنتابع المرضى السكري بشكل دوري بشكل عام كل 3 أشهر. خلال الزيارة بيتم فحص المريض سريرياً، فحص القدم السكرية لتشخيص الاعتلال الأعصاب الطرفية والتأكد من سلامة القدمين، إضافة إلى متابعة الفحص التراكمي والفحوصات المتعلقة بمضاعفات مرض السكري. أيضا بقدم المركز متابعة للنظام الغذائي لجميع المرضى وبشكل مجاني. بنقوم أيضا بإجراء فحوصات مخبرية دورية لمرضى السكري اللي احنا نتابعهم، بالإضافة للمرضى اللي بيزورونا من خارج المركز.
كنت مع هذا المعهد بصراحة تجربة كتير رائعة، لأنه بيغطي كمية كبيرة من الأطفال. السكري تقريبا معظم منطقة الشمال، كمية كبيرة من الأطفال، وبتوفد عليه كمان كل الحالات الجديدة المشخصة. الحلو هنا إنه بيقدم يعني مش كفرد كطبيب، احنا بنتعامل هون كتيم، يعني طبيب بيشوف الطفل، بيشرح لهم كل شيء للأهل بالذات. نحن بتعرف إنه مع فئة الأطفال يعني بيكون التعامل مع الطفل ومع الأهل، بتفهم الأهل كيف الموضوع. بالذات المرحلة الأولى بتكون مرحلة كتير صعبة على الأهل، بتكون مرحلة الدينايل يعني. بنعرف إنه هذا الحكي ما رح يكون من أول لحظة، من أول دقيقة رح يتفهم المرض. بعدين بيكون مع أخصائية التغذية مع التمريض، بيكون عندنا جلسات متكررة، يعني تقريبا المعهد بيقوم بعمل اللي بتقوم فيه المستشفى في الدول الثانية، لأنك أنت بيقوم بتعليم الطفل كل شيء عن السكري، تعليم حساب النشويات، تعليم التصحيح، المتابعة. هذا الحكي كله بيتم خلال تغطية الطفل في المرحلة الصباحية. زيارات المتكررة راح تكون بالمركز هذا في مرحلة التشخيص المبكر للسكر بالذات النوع الأول. بعدين بتم المتابعة بفترات معينة حسب حالة الطفل، كل شهر، شهرين، 3 شهور ماكسيمم، على أساس الطفل يتلقى الخدمة المناسبة للعلاج، بحيث إنه يكون دائما عندهم المخزون والتراكمي ضمن الحد الطبيعي. بشكل عام الحمد لله يعني رضا المرضى عن المركز كتير يعني بيساعدنا، إنه الطفل لحاله اللي بيجي أول مرة وثاني مرة ولك أنا بدي أضلني أتابع، لأنه أنا يعني عم بتعلم مرة مع مرة عم بتعلم. شكر طبعا لإدارة المركز اللي متاحة لهذا الفئة من الأطفال. بصراحة هذه العناية الخاصة اللي قليل ما تتوفر بمراكز تكون بهاي الجودة وحتى بهاي الأسعار الرمزية.
أنا ميار إسماعيل، عمري 30 سنة، مخلصة من كلية الهندسة، مصابة بسكري تايب 1 من 27 سنة. كانت بداية علاجي في وزارة الصحة مع دكتورة انتصار، وبعد ما تم افتتاح المعهد الفلسطيني لأمراض السكري استكملت علاجي بالمركز من سنة 2013. حاليا أنا أنجبت طفلين، الطفل الأول والطفل الثاني كانت متابعتي في المركز قبل الحمل وخلال فترة الحمل وبعد الحمل. تم متابعتي في المركز، وحاليا الحمد لله الطفلين في حالة جيدة وأنا في حالة جيدة وأمارس حياتي الطبيعية.
جيت على هذا المركز بشهر 10 2018، كنت عالي من سمنة زايدة، ولما عملت الفحوصات اللازمة طلع معي التراكمي 14 وطلع معي السكري حوالي 480. هاي المرة اللي عملت فيها الفحص، وبعدها اتبعت المركز هنا برعاية نظام التغذية والدكتورة انتصار العالم، وأعطوني برنامج الحمد لله رب العالمين ومشيت عليه، وبفضل الله مشيت مع تمارين الرياضة ومشيت على النظام الغذائي اللي أعطوني إياه هذا المركز، والحمد لله من 154 كيلو وزني هلقيت صار وزني 98 كيلو بفضل الله، وما باخذ أي دواء نهائيا.
بيعطوني أدوية، بيعطوني فحوصات كل تقريبا 3 شهور، باجي بشوف الفحوصات، بشوف اللي كان أفضل ولا اللي كان أسوأ. بالعكس الأفضل هو أكثر من ما قبله. الحمد لله رب العالمين. التجربة اللي أنا جيت وشفت قبل كتروا على الدكاترة، شفت تقريبا في أريحة، في رام الله، في غيرها، بس الحمد لله في هذا المركز كان عناية صحية ممتازة. يعني هذا دكتور اللي معهم الموظفين والذاكر والكادر، الحمد لله. يعني أقول لك مش أقول جيد بل يكون ممتاز.
اسمي أسامة بركات، وهذا البطل عبود عبد الرحمن ابني، عمره 9 سنوات. عبد الرحمن تايب 1 ديابيتس من 4 سنين. احنا من 3 سنوات بنراجع عند المعهد الفلسطيني لأمراض السكري بإشراف دكتورة انتصار العالم. الشيء المميز اللي لاحظناه في المركز انه مركز كثير رائع من جميع النواحي والخدمات اللي بقدمها للمرضى. مرضانا بشكل عام وخاصة الأطفال والكبار بالعمر بحاجة كبير لهذا المركز. المركز بتميز، أنا بحكم عملي كصيدلاني بروح على مراكز كثير ومستشفيات كثير بالضفة الغربية. المعهد الفلسطيني لأمراض السكري من أفضل المراكز والمعاهد اللي تخص المرضى الموجودة في فلسطين. بيقدم خدمات كثير رائعة. من الخدمات اللي كثير مميز اللي حبيناها مثلا الاكتيفيتيز اللي بيعملوها للاطفال، الكشفيات الرمزيه اللي باخذها المركز. انا معي تامين صحي بقدر اروح وين اي مكان وبغطيني التامين، بس انا بحب اروح ازور المركز المعهد الفلسطيني لامراض السكري عشان عبود متابعه عبود، لانه خدماته كثير مميزه. صراحه احنا نوجه الشكر لكل حدا موجود في المعهد الفلسطيني لامراض السكري، من الريسبشن، من التمريض، اخصائيه التغذيه، المختبر المميز جدا وعلى راسهم الدكتوره انتصار العالم، وحديثا بدايه السنه بوجود الدكتوره منى شرف اخصائيه الاندوكراين بيدياتريك. شيء كثير مميز. احنا بنوجه شكر لكل من قام بانشاء هذا المركز، ولكل شخص بيقدم اي دعم للمعهد الفلسطيني لامراض السكري، لانه مرضانا في فلسطين بحاجه كبير جدا لهذا المركز.
أنا معي سكري من النوع الأول، بتابع مع الدكتورة انتصار الدكتورة منى، أنا مبسوطة كثير معهم.
السلام عليكم، سمير رفاعي من نابلس، أعاني من مرض السكري النوع الثاني، ولي قريبة تعاني من مرض السكري النوع الأول. صحيح كنا نعاني قبل وجود المعهد الفلسطيني للسكري من إيجاد حدا يتابع معنا المرض ويلاقي لنا الحلول للمشاكل اللي بنواجهها مع المرض. الحمد لله بعد وجود المعهد السكري في نابلس صرنا نتابع باستمرار حالتنا، وصار تطور كبير بالنسبة لحالتنا وبطل يرتفع معنا السكري كتير. قريبتي الحمد لله تزوجت وخلفت وصار عندها ولد وبنت، الحمد لله رب العالمين. أولادها لا يعاني من أي نوع من أنواع السكري. البنت عمرها 3 سنين والولد عمره 6 أشهر. صحيح المعهد السكري كان وجوده في نابلس يوفر علينا كتير، كنا نروح على المعهد في رام الله، وقبله ما كنا نلاقي حدا اللي يتابع لنا حالتنا. وجوده خفف أعباء كتيرة، بالإضافة إلى خفف التكاليف، حيث أنه الأجور اللي بأخذها سواء كان كشفية الدكتور أو فحوصات المختبر هي رسوم رمزية بالنسبة للسوق. صحيح الطاقم اللي موجود طاقم ممتاز، من الدكتورة انتصار لدكتور العيون للممرضين في المختبر لأخصائيين التغذية للاستقبال. الطاقم جميع كله متعاون ومتفاهم.
أنا الطالبة سارة مدار من كلية العاش الأسرة سنة ثانية تمريض. جينا على المعهد الفلسطيني لأمراض السكري بسليم تدريب لمادة الكوميونتي، وتعرفنا فيه على إيش هو مرض السكري وإيش أنواعه جميعها، وكيفية يعني إنه العناية بمرضى السكري والعناية بالقدم السكري.
Okay, well, I hope all of you understand Arabic, but if you don't, our apologies. I hope you got the message through the visuals. It was our intention to have the English language version ready before tonight's event, but due to the circumstances in Palestine with the pandemic and everything a few times. So I'm hoping somebody in your household who's watching would be able to explain the video to you. But in summary, it was just a series of success stories from individuals who had the benefit of visiting and getting treatment at the clinics, the various clinics in Palestine that are run by the Palestine Diabetes Institute. So hopefully, inshallah, next year we will have one in the English language for you to enjoy. Look, 2020 has been a year that I think most of us want to erase from our memories. It's been difficult. I tell my children every morning that I fear turning Facebook on because I don't want to see another Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un announcing the death of yet another human being. It's just been one right after the other. And I cannot wait, as many of you have expressed to me personally, for this year to be over and for better times to come. But it is what it is. The number of loved ones we have lost this year is so large that it has just left a scar so deep. I often wonder whether or not we're ever going to be able to recover. Is there a I'm sorry, I thought there was a technical difficulty. Again, the scar is so deep, we wonder if we're ever going to be able to recover. COVID has been a beast, but not only is COVID a beast, diabetes is a beast. As you heard Dr. Eid say, it is a silent killer, and it's killing people every single day. And despite the despair that we often feel day in and day again, I was saying that despite our feelings of very I'm sorry, I'm unable to figure out whether or not you can hear me. But if you can, I was times like these that we need to ask you to give as much as you can. Give today, not and as we've experienced, tomorrow is not promised. There are many people counting on our support, and I have said this time and time again, charity is not going to make anyone poor. So please dig into your pockets. If you haven't given already, please do what you can to give this evening. To those of you who have already donated, we thank you again and again and again. It is the holiday season. It's a time of giving, but every day should be a time of giving. But it's also a time to be thankful. It's a time of gratitude. It's the time, and we should do this every day, where we say Alhamdulillah for everything that we have. Thank God we are as fortunate as we are. There is not anybody out there listening to me tonight that hasn't either experienced diabetes personally or through a family member or knows someone that does. This silent killer has affected each and every one of us in one way or another. I want to bring on someone who needs no introduction. We all know her as Dr. Muhayya. Dr. Muhayya, the most giving, kind, and considerate human being I know, and I say that sincerely. She is giving and selfless, and I just want her to say a few words as to why she is so passionate about the Diabetes Institute and why she has basically committed her life even after retirement, to making sure that this institute is self-sustaining and continues for generations to come until this disease is eradicated. Dr. Mahaya, if you can say a few words, please.
Thank you very much, Vivian. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Vivian. And I was saying, why diabetes? In fact, the main reasons, that support solidarity is education and health. So we came to health, and we found that in Palestine, about 15 to 20% of the population have diabetes, and half of them, like they were mentioning before, they don't even know that they have diabetes because it's very silent and you don't feel it until it's a little late. So we wanted to create something that help people have some quality of life. We wanted to create a center that is a center of excellence that supplies all the necessary and the updated things in diabetes. And on the other hand, we want continuity of care. People with diabetes flip from one doctor to another center to another place. We wanted to make sure that there is a place that is called Diabetes Center, where they can go and follow, and continuity of care has a lot more effect on the health of a person than flipping here and there. Diabetes is, we need, number one, early detection. Number two, support and prevention. Number three, we need to support the patient along when they are taking the medicine, because once you are diagnosed with diabetes, if you don't follow, it stays with you, and you need always to be motivated to continue the support and the tests and the follow-up. And the most important thing is prevention of complications. Like everybody knows, when our blood flows in our system like water, when we have diabetes, it becomes like a syrup. And this syrup will get stuck in small vessels. And the small vessels are in the retina, in the kidney, and in the feet. So the most common complications of diabetes are blindness, renal problems, and problems with the feet, and a lot of them get amputated because they don't follow up and they don't. So I urge you to help us maintain the quality of life of our people back home by donating generously and giving, so we can, like I said, keep the center of excellence, continuity of care, support, and with your help, God will probably reward you more than you think. And the feeling of giving is really a great feeling. So I'm urging everybody who knows, even if you know a friend, you tell them about our centers, and you tell them that donation is tax deductible in the United States, and God will reward you. And thank you very much.
Inshallah. Thank you very much, Dr. Khalfa. In better times, as we did last year, or was it the year before, I have my partner, Dr. Mahmoud Ismail. We're a tag team, looking you straight in your eye, each and every one of you, and urging you, imploring you to give. I'm sure he's watching because he's with us. This is a community effort. It's a collective effort. The Diabetes Institute would not be in existence today if it wasn't for the board of directors, each and every one of them, of the Jerusalem Fund, and the supporters, which are each and every one of you. It's a good feeling to give. We all know, because we give, and we've given before, and we need to continue to give. What better way to show gratitude for being as fortunate as we are and for having the ability to live each day in comfort? What better way than to share what we have with others? Dig into your pockets again, friends. It's urgently needed. I know you give to other organizations, and all of these organizations do good work and are deserving of your donations and your contributions, as is the Palestine Diabetes Center. You saw the video. Little goes a long way. These people, without your help and assistance, wouldn't be here today. I want to call on Dr. Subhi Ali to also urge you in his own way. If he can please come on and say a few words. Dr. Ali.
Thank you, Vivian, and good evening. As chair of the Jerusalem Fund and Palestine Center in Washington, D.C., I would like to welcome you again to our 43rd anniversary gala on behalf of our board of directors. This year, we dedicated this gala as a fundraiser for what you have already been told, the Palestine Diabetes Institute. This is one of our anchor projects in Palestine and to Palestinian refugees, wherever they are. Over the last 11 years, it has treated over 20,000 patients in Palestine in its 3 centers. However, the PDI, as we call it, would not have been possible without the generous support of friends like you. We depend on that support for the operation and the continued development of our 3 centers to be centers of excellence. Why not? Why not have the best centers for the treatment of one of the highest killers in Palestine, which is diabetes? We strongly believe also that we have made a lot of difference in Palestine in aspects of screening for diabetes and treatment of diabetes. You have heard from Dr. Eid Mustafa and Dr. Muhayya Khilfa, 2 of whom have been pillars of this project and will continue to be. I know they will. We would not have been able to do this. The Palestine Center and Jerusalem Fund depend on, is a donation-driven organization and depend on your continued support. For that, I hope that you will be as generous as possible. Now I will give the mic back to Vivian.
Dr. Ali. I mean, you are everywhere you need to be when it comes to supporting diabetes in Palestine. Thank you for everything that you do. Again, people, give what you can. Whatever it is you give goes a long way. No amount is too small, whether it's $5 or $500 or $5,000. Each dollar has a place to go. Each dollar has a needy person waiting for it, waiting to get care and medication and assistance from the diabetes center in connection with their diabetes. I cannot urge you enough to give and to give now. And again, thank you for those of you who've already donated. Before we move on to the entertainment portion that I promise you will be something that you didn't wait for nothing, I want to give Dr. Eid the last word here in urging our viewers and our supporters to give. Dr. Eid.
Right. Thank you, Vivian, and thank you all. I think the message has been delivered. You know, we're all here in an attempt to give solidarity to our people, and I cannot think of any better way of doing it. So I also join the ranks of Vivian, Muhayya, and Subhi in thanking you for all that you do and all that you hopefully will do in the future. All the best, and God bless you during these days.
Thank you, Dr. Eid Mustafa. Well, here is the next segment, and I'm sure you've all been waiting to hear none other than the very famous and well-loved Amer Zahr. Amer is a comedian, he's a colleague, an attorney, a political activist. He has become a household name. He is not only a political activist and everything else I just mentioned, but he is also one of the smartest and most engaging men I know. He is also the most principled individual I have come across in a long time, an adamant and principled supporter of the Palestinian people, an ardent defender of the rights of the Palestinian people. He jokes and he makes us laugh, but in every laugh there is a message. There is a message of resistance, of sustenance, and of continuing to march on in the defense of Palestinian human, political, and civil rights. Please help me welcome none other than Amer Zahr. Amer.
Well, thank you, Vivian. I'm not deserving of that introduction, but thank you very much. And thank you for everything that you have done for us and here at the Jerusalem Fund tonight. But let's have a little fun. So how is everybody doing out there in the world? I see all these beautiful people on my screen. Wonderful, wonderful, all these wonderful people. I have to tell you, I've been watching the program here for a while. I'm coming to you tonight actually from New York City. I'm here with my Palestine t-shirt with my, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm here with my Palestine t-shirt, with my Palestine key, because we're all going back home one day. We're just on a very, very long vacation in America. We're all going to go back to our homeland one day, I promise you. And I'm so happy to see everyone here. And I was listening before when sorry, my sound is not great. One second, let me fix something. I think I know what it is.
Okay, now you hear me a lot better. Is that correct? Okay, good. Wonderful. I was messing up, so let me just do this. And now, okay, great. So now you all can hear me fine?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Wonderful. That's great. Okay, so as I was saying in the beginning, I don't deserve this long, beautiful introduction Vivian gave me. I'm very humbled by it. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be with all of you here tonight. I see all these beautiful people joining from around the country. We're here tonight in support of the Jerusalem Fund and the Diabetes Center that we have to build because, look, we live here in America. We're lucky. We have fast internet, the Dollar Tree, cheap hamburgers. So we really have to give back. I know all you people watching, all you Palestinians and Arabs especially watching, because I come to these events usually live and I see the cars that you're driving. So I know you have money. All right. So give even a little more money. Give everything that you can give because we are here tonight to do that. Well, look, I saw earlier tonight, Vivian was showing those videos and they didn't have, you saw those people speaking in Arabic. They didn't have all the subtitles I think they were supposed to have. For any people who are watching today, especially white people that are watching that might not understand Arabic, basically what they were saying in those videos over and over and over again was God bless America and President Donald Trump, and we are very proud. Oh, I could probably say something that Vivian did not say when she introduced me, which is the opinions of tonight's comedian in no way represent the opinions of the Jerusalem Fund.
Well said.
Or any of its board members or subsidiaries or affiliates.
Or donors.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should do that.
As we see, as you can all notice already, you are now experiencing what I, as an Arab comedian with an Arab audience, experience often, which is Dr. Eid and Dr. Mahaya participating in my comedy show, giving extra lines whenever they feel fit. This is what happens with Arabs. They just participate. They believe, see, we Arabs have a disease, okay? We think we can do whatever you can do better than you can do it. This is our disease that we have. And maybe there should be a Jerusalem Fund where we raise money for that disease one day. But it's very great. I mean, after every show, I always get like older Arab guys walk up to me and they say, Amer, you were very funny. I have a joke for you. And they always want to tell me a joke. And they always tell me the same thing. You can use it. You can have it. You don't have to say my name or anything. Yeah. But I am Palestinian. I make sure everybody knows that all the time. I am the child of Palestinian refugees. My father is, you never stop. He is a Palestinian refugee. He is an UNRWA registered refugee to this day. And that is something that we take pride in because of how far we have come. Now, it is a little bit difficult being the son of a refugee, especially Palestinian refugees. A lot of people don't know this. We Palestinians are major overachievers. Major overachievers. People always ask me, why are Palestinians so successful? Because we're very successful. They, it's like, we don't just work in the hospital. We're the chief of staff. We don't just work in the garage. We own the garage. Okay, this is what we do as Palestinians. And people ask me, why are Palestinians so successful? I tell them it's very simple. We don't have Plan B. Okay, we cannot mess up and go back to our country. It doesn't work like that for us. So we got to make it work. Okay, and we work very hard. And we never go on vacation. And people say to me, why don't Palestinians go on vacation? I tell them it's very simple. We don't like to leave our house for more than 2 or 3 days. We remember what happened last time we did that. And so we learned. But we are not just overachievers because of the occupation. The occupation since 1948 has turned us into major overachievers. But we have a long tradition of overachieving. Jesus, major overachiever. I mean, his mom, Mary, think of what she did. Very major overachiever. Okay. We come from a long line of overachievers, and it's gone all the way on until 2020. And it's hard. People don't understand how hard it is. My dad was born in Jaffa in 1948. 1 month after he was born, Israel invaded Jaffa and he became a refugee. At 1 month old with his family, they traveled to Amman, Jordan. And he grew up in a refugee neighborhood. And just so that he could go to college, he had to finish first in high school, and he did. And just so that he could go from college to a master's program, he had to finish first in college, and he did. And just so that he could go from a master's program to a PhD program in America, he had to finish first in his master's program, and he did. And then he came to America and he got a PhD and he worked for a big company for 35 years and he has a big house and nice cars. And like, isn't that a beautiful story? This is a beautiful story, right? This is the Palestinian refugee story. We come from nothing to everything. But do you know how hard it is to be the son of this person? Okay? It's not very pleasant, all right? I could never impress him when I was a kid. I could never do too good. One day I brought home my test. I said, Baba, here's my test. I got a 96. Where is the other 4? This is what we deal with, all right? I mean, but I love being Palestinian. Sometimes I say being Palestinian is hard, but it is the most beautiful damn thing in the world because we have so much history. We live here in America where there's not much history. All right, let's be honest. I mean, not much history, not much knowledge. People don't know that much. You know, America's the dumbest country in the world. All right, they're still telling us that Columbus discovered America. He got lost. He got lost. He's not a good explorer. He actually never set foot in the United States of America, and they have a holiday for this idiot. He got lost. Okay? He got lost. He thought he got to India really quick. All right, that's how dumb he was. All right. And by the way, a lot of people don't know this. The reason he was trying to go to India that way is because when you went to India this way, you had to pass through us, and he didn't want to do that anymore. So he was trying to find another. He thought he got to India really quick. All right. And we have a holiday to this idiot. We're not a very smart country. All right. We have a game show called Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Okay. That's a game show in America. You answer questions. You go on the show. You're an adult. You answer questions from the first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. If you answer all the questions from the fifth grade correctly, do you know what you win? $1 million. And guess what? Nobody wins. Okay? Nobody wins. This is America. People wonder why we end up with Trump and other things, because nobody wins. Are you smarter than a fifth grader? All right. This is the problem that we have. Now, the kids in Palestine are smart, but they're too smart. It's a very weird, crazy smart, because politics dominates their lives every day. I was walking around Jerusalem like 6 years ago, and a little 6-year-old Palestinian kid walks up to me and he says, "Do you think that Barack Obama will win the re-election by enough electoral votes to beat?" And I was like, "What the hell are you talking about? Please go play soccer, all right? You're only 6 years old." He's too smart. But in America, we're not smart enough. Okay, let me tell you a statistic. You guys are all scientists watching me. Let me tell you a statistic that'll really freak you out. There has been 250 episodes of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, and only 2 winners, okay, in the whole history of the show. Now, who are these 2 people? One of them was the superintendent of schools for the entire state of Georgia, so she already knows the questions that are on the show. And the other one was a Nobel Prize winner in physics, all right? These are the only 2 people capable of winning. Are you smarter than a fifth grader? Do you understand the problem we have here in America? We have a big problem, all right? In America, if you're smarter than a fifth grader, you get $1 million. In Germany, if you're smarter than a fifth grader, you go to the 6th grade. That's it. There's no problems, all right? You just move on in life. We have a lot of problems in this country and no history. Palestine has a lot of history. Palestine, God chose Palestine, even if you're not religious. You know, God chose Palestine, all right? He chose that land. It's so beautiful. It's so strong, especially in Jerusalem. You feel it every day. In America, there's not that much history. Really, there isn't. I mean, in America, somebody walks in front of a building and they say, "This building is 100 years old." They think, you know. And then you're in Jerusalem and you're eating a falafel sandwich and you say to the owner of the restaurant, "Tell me about this restaurant." And he says, "Well, Jesus ate there." All right. Well, that's old. That is old. We come from a long, long history, beautiful, beautiful history. And that's why we keep talking about it today. I mean, you know, they said the old will die and the young will forget. You remember that? But that hasn't worked. There's still some really old people walking around. I mean, look, there's Dr. Subhi Ali and there's Dr. Aid Musmina. We still have some really old people walking around. And you can go to Chicago or San Francisco or Anaheim, California, or Houston, Texas, or Orlando, Florida, or Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, or Philadelphia, or Washington, D.C., and you can find a little 6-year-old Palestinian kid, and he will tell you the name of the village that his grandparents got kicked out of. See, we didn't forget. We kept this long history. That is who we are. But it is difficult being us, because look what they try to do to us every day. I mean, we see this. We just saw it again. Maher al-Akhras. Remember Maher al-Akhras? He was on a hunger strike for over 100 days, protesting the illegal administrative detention. Vivian, you're a lawyer. How long can you keep somebody in detention in America without charges?
We start to yell after a couple of days.
Yeah, 48 hours. 48 hours. They kept him for over 100 days without charges because they don't view us as worthy of the basic human rights that everybody else has. And so he went on hunger strike. And this is how I know the Israelis are weak. Everyone says they're so strong and they're so smart and they think 100 years ahead. They're so smart. They can figure everything out. They couldn't convince a guy to eat. An Arab guy. I mean, do you know how easy it is to convince an Arab guy to eat? Do you know how many times I've been convinced to eat and I didn't want to eat? Okay, he wanted to eat and they couldn't convince him to eat. They are not stronger than us. We are stronger than them. We have more willpower because we know that we belong. You know, they need all these flags and tanks and helicopters to prove that they belong. We just need our names. You tell somebody your last name is Mustafa, they know what village you're from. Khalaf, they know what village you're from. Khilfi, Ali, Zahr, they know where we're from. I mean, Jerusalem, you see it everywhere. I love doing an event tonight called the Jerusalem Fund because Jerusalem is where you see it. Jerusalem is where you see it. I was walking around in Jerusalem and you know, yeah, you go into the old city and you see the young men with machine guns and M16s and that's very disappointing. But then you see what they're pointing their guns out, and it's guys selling shawarma and falafel and hummus. In other words, Palestinians, Arabs. You see it right there in Jerusalem with your own eyes. And yes, you see flags and all that kind of stuff. But then you see what the flags are waving over. It's women selling their spices and za'atar and their lemons and their parsley. And Palestinians. It's Arab. It's still Arab after all this time. Because look, it's been Arab for 1,500 years. 70 years of some visitors from Europe is not going to change anything. And then they say, you know, what would Jerusalem do? I know this. I know what Jerusalem is, and I know what she isn't. I know she's Arab. I know she's not from Brooklyn. Okay, I know she's one of us. I know that if she could talk, she would speak Arabic with a Palestinian accent. She would serve me lemonade that was like way too sour. All right, she would give too many food to the table. She would ask me why I wasn't married yet. That's how Arab Jerusalem is. All right, things have not changed. And speaking of that, I do have to say, you know, growing up now, my whole life with Arab parents, and now, you know, thinking about back to my childhood, I do remember how difficult it was. Yes, we went to Palestinian protests, but I also just tried to be a good little white kid when I was growing up. And, you know, it's very hard when you live in America with people who, you know, they can't speak English. English is like their second or third language. Now, my dad is a scientist, so he knows the words. Okay, but they just don't always come out right. We do, for those of you who don't know, for those who are listening today, if you don't speak English, if you don't speak Arabic, and by the way, I do want to welcome all the guests that might be watching today that are not Palestinian or Arab. Welcome to our event, including all the uninvited guests from the FBI and the CIA. We're very happy that you are watching us and joining us tonight. Welcome to our event. I believe everyone on the screen is legal, so we should be fine now. But but it's hard. See, if you don't know Arabic, let me explain something to you. There is no P in Arabic. Okay? There's no pa. They can't say it. Pa. We are the Palestinian people. We like to drink Pepsi and eat pizza, but with no pepperoni. Because the pepperoni has pork. Okay, this is the way they talk. All right, this, you know, different varying levels of this.
Right.
And I tried to be a good little white kid. I played baseball. Okay, I played baseball like a good little white kid. I came to America when I was 3, and by 7 years old, I was playing baseball. I wanted to fit in with these white kids. But my dad would come to my games, and he doesn't understand baseball. Okay, Arabs don't understand baseball. They only understand one sport. What's that sport?
Football.
Football. Soccer. That's right, Dr. Khilfi. Soccer. They only understand one sport. My dad says, you know, I understand soccer. It's very simple. Here there is a goal. Here there is a goal. You kick the ball in the goal.
That's it.
So, I understand hockey. You push that thing into the goal. I understand basketball. You throw the ball into the goal. But baseball, where is the goal? Okay. I tried to explain it to him. I said, Baba, it's very simple. You know, you stand here, you hit the ball, then you run here, then you run here, then you run here, then you run back here. When you get back here, you get a run. It's kind of like a point. It's kind of like a goal. That's how baseball works. And my dad said, so they are already standing in the goal? This, by the way, this doesn't make sense to a refugee. Why would you run everywhere? And just come back where you are. You know, this doesn't make any sense to him. Right. And by the way, when Arabs and Palestinians especially, when they don't understand something, they don't try to learn about it. They just say, that's stupid. I would say to my dad, Baba, what do you think about baseball? I don't understand it. It's stupid. That's what, you know, that's the answer. And so he would come to my games with his friends, and they would be sitting there smoking cigarettes, talking in Arabic, and yelling out the wrong things. Goal, touchdown. You know, it's very embarrassing for me as a kid. I'm trying to fit in with all these white kids. So one day on the way home, I said, guys, if you're going to come to my games, man, this is embarrassing. All right. You have to learn the rules of baseball. You can't be there yelling I'm trying to fit in with these white kids, and you're embarrassing me. And my dad said, okay, fine. I will learn baseball. And he went home. He bought a baseball book and he started learning, and he discussed it with his friends. And the next week they came to my game and they cheered for me for 3 hours correctly. But on the way home, I had to have a talk with them. I said, guys, thanks for coming to my game. I really appreciate the support. But it's pronounced pitch.
What a nice pitch.
Thank you for doing the example for me, Dr. Khilfi. You're you know, I mean, you're supposed to say nice pitch, beautiful pitch, smack the pitch. Okay, it was not good. It was not good. But it is tough, man. It is tough. And now I have to say there's a couple reasons I do events like this. I'm getting ready to go. And for those who don't know, when a Palestinian says we're getting ready to go, it's about like another 45 minutes to an hour. That's why we're still in Palestine today, because the Israelis came 72 years ago and they said, you all have to go. And we said, okay, I'm leaving. Just give me a minute, let me say bye to everybody. That's why we're still there. But I do these events for two reasons. Number one, we do have an obligation as Palestinians to make sure that we support community organizations. And when we have organizations like the Jerusalem Fund doing these kinds of things, we as Palestinians, as Arabs, as Americans need to make sure that we are supporting them. So you see everything scrolling on the bottom, the JerusalemFund.org/PDI. Go to that link, donate. If you already donate a little bit more, okay? Tell your friends. It doesn't stop tonight, by the way. Go and tell your friends to keep donating to the Jerusalem Fund. Sign up to be a monthly donor. Give a lot of money at once. We're getting near the end of the year where you can give your money and still get the tax-deductible contribution. Do it, because what they're doing, it is up to us. Because of the occupation, it is up to us as Palestinians, and because of the terrible policies of the United States, it is up to us as Palestinian Americans and Arab Americans to try to make sure our people have a normal life. I mean, it sounds weird, right? That we are trying to build a diabetes center that the government who's controlling them should build for them, but it's not happening. So we have to make sure that our kids and our people have something that's close to a normal life. So let's take that upon ourselves because it's our obligation. So if you gave, give a little bit more. If you didn't give because you're getting a free show. If you gave, tell all your friends. Share this link again, JerusalemFund.org. Real easy to remember. Just go there and give and give and give. That's the first reason I do events like this, to make sure that we always support our community institutions and the hard work. Look at these people on the screen. They don't have to be spending their Saturday night like this. I mean, I know they don't have anything to do, but still, they don't have to be spending their Saturday night like this, okay? They volunteered seriously dozens of hours, and they're all hardworking people with a real schedule. I'm not, okay? I'm just a comedian. I can do this all the time, but they have real jobs and are helping people, and they've decided to give back because they know they have to. Make sure that you give so their work becomes easier. Give, give, give. That's the first reason. The second reason I do events like this, even virtually now, because I want to be out there as much as I can. Because when I get asked, especially by anyone at the Jerusalem Fund, to do an event where there might be a lot of Palestinians watching, I will always say yes. Because I am now 43 and still single. That's right. Still.
Is that
My camera did not freeze. I'm 43 and still single. I mean, I don't know. Should I get married, guys? Should I get married?
Yes.
Yeah, Vivian says yes. Dr. Eid, yes. Dr. Safi, what do you think?
Well, I think it's about time.
It's about time. Okay, thank you. Dr. Mohaya, what do you think?
I think you are already عم تعمل إعلان.
Right.
You already thought of it and decided, so you announced it.
I mean, are all four of you married? Yes,
Yeah.
everyone's married. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. How long you been married, Dr. Eid?
All his life.
Oh, he froze now.
43 years.
43 years.
Okay. 41. No, we just. Yeah.
43. That is a long time. 40. What's her name, Dr. Eid?
Well, I'm only without you. Join the club. Her name. Oh, let me check. I think her name is
Salma.
Saba. Don't get me in trouble now.
Saba.
She's the queen of Sheba.
The queen of Sheba. Yeah, Saba. See, this is my problem, Dr. Eid and everybody, is I see people who have been married for a long time, and I see how they talk about each other, and it is never good for the man. Okay, it's never good for the man. Like for instance, if you were to ask Dr. Eid and Saba how they met, wait, are you guys first cousins? Because that's one way to meet. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, not
Okay.
that I know.
Look, hey guys, everyone out there, sometimes we marry our cousins. There's nothing wrong with that. It just means that you know she comes from a good family. Okay? Sometimes we marry our cousins. There's nothing wrong with that. And look, by the way, for any white people that are watching, if you ever come to one of our weddings, let me give you a little bit of advice, especially if you're coming to a cousin wedding. But no matter what kind of wedding you're coming to, you can never make sure that you never don't come at the time it says on the invitation. Okay?
1 hour later.
Because you're going to be really, really early and really confused. You're like, wait, it looks like there's going to be a wedding. You know, where is everybody? So don't come at the time it says on the invitation. That's my first piece of advice. Let me fix my light here. That's my first piece of advice. My second piece of advice for all of you out there is that if you do come to an Arab wedding, a Palestinian wedding, especially if it's a cousin wedding, you can't ask questions like you ask at a regular wedding, okay? You can't walk into a Palestinian cousin wedding and say, so are you here with the bride or the groom? Who do you know here? Everybody. I know everybody. But anyway, if you ask Dr. Eid and Saba how they met each other, it's not going to be good for the man. If you ask Dr. Eid will tell you what men say. The first time I saw Saba, she was the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my life, ever, forever.
It's the best lie ever made.
And I knew I wanted to be with her forever.
That's true.
Is what men say. And if you ask Saba about the first time she met Dr. Eid, Saba will say what women say. Well, the first time I met Eid, I never thought I would end up with somebody like that. But he grew on me like a disease. He grew on me. Oh, hey, Yana. You know, that's the best you can hope for.
Right.
So I don't know. But I have another problem now. I'm 43, single. I don't know what I'm going to do. And my mom thinks I'm gay. Now, look, there's nothing wrong with being gay. You know, I'm just not. You know, I'm just not. She has already gone through, she spent the last 4 years going through all the 5 stages of grief, you know, like anger, depression, bargaining, acceptance. She's already reached acceptance. She's never had the initial trauma, Okay, I never said anything to her. She never called me, but she's gone through everything. She just believes that I am. She asks me questions now. She sat me down a few years ago and she said, Amer, I am your mother. I said, okay. She said, you can tell me anything. I said, okay. She says, whatever it is, I will love you. I will accept you. I said, okay. She said, are you gay? It's okay. Just a minute. And, I said, no, no, I'm not. And then she looked at me and she said, are you sure? And I started looking in my phone. I said, yeah, I think I'm sure. Let me see. Next Wednesday, I'm not gay. Thursday, I'm not gay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Now she tries to trick me with other things. She calls me and she says, Amer, are you dating any girls? I say, no. She says, others? Now she treats me like a you ever watch like Law and Order where the detectives are questioning the suspect, like they already know that he did it and they're just trying to get him to confess. My mom does that. Now she's the detective, I'm the suspect. My dad is her partner, just sitting there being quiet, and she'll just look at me and she'll talk to me like that. She comes in, she goes, look, we already know. We already know. We have the evidence. We already know everything. If you will feel better. You will feel better when you tell us. Okay? And this is the world that I'm living in. 1 second, I want to get my my adapter for my computer because I'm running out of power. But this is what she does now. And I have to tell you, it is difficult being an Arab guy because I go to Palestine. Now, I never say that I visit Palestine. I always say that I return to Palestine whenever I go. And a lot of people don't understand how difficult it is to be a 43-year-old single heterosexual man in Palestine because the traditions are different. I'm still American, okay? Because things are different. In America, if a man and a woman are walking down the street holding hands, it's totally normal. If two men are walking down the street holding hands, it's still kind of weird. In Palestine, if a man and a woman are walking down the street holding hands, it's kind of weird. If there's two men walking down the street holding hands, it's totally normal. Okay? Now, I didn't know that. So I was walking down the street with a friend of mine in Jerusalem and he wanted to talk to me. So he grabbed my hand. But I'm American. So I said, hey, man, stop it. He said, no, it's okay. I said, it's not okay. Don't touch me. He said, no, you can hold my hand. I said, I don't want to hold your hand. And then he gave me the most Palestinian Arab logic response I've ever heard in my life. He said, come on, hold my hand. What's wrong? Are you gay? Yeah, so I held his hand. This is what you do. But the last thing I'll say is this. I know I said the last thing 50 times, but for real, the last thing I'll say is this. Make sure that you give. Make sure that you keep giving. Because we Palestinians have been fighting this fight for 72 years. They've been trying to get rid of us and shut us up for 72 years, but they can't do it. Like I said before, we work harder than everybody else. We're smarter than everybody else. We will out-educate them. We will outwork them. We will outsmart them. And there's one more thing we will do. We are not only the most educated people on planet Earth. We're not only the most hardworking people on planet Earth. We are, scientifically, the most reproductive people on planet Earth. Okay? Let me tell you something about Palestinians. In 1948, when they tried to get rid of us, they got rid of a lot. Okay? They got rid of 800,000 Palestinians who became refugees. Now, those people are about 5 or 6 million around the world. But they didn't get rid of everybody. 150,000 Palestinians remained in what is today Israel or Dakhil or Arad 48 or whatever you call it. 150,000. Now, if those 150,000 had grown at the normal average global birth rate, they should be, after 72 years, about 500,000 people. Do you know how many they are? 1.9 million. That's right. 1.9 million. You can't get rid of us. All right. We love each other way too much. All right. They drop bombs. We drop babies. So you have to understand, my warning out there to everybody is don't mess with Palestinians. Don't mess with us. Because if you do, we will outwork you. We will outsmart you. And if we have to, we will outlove you too. All right, everybody. I love you very much. Keep giving to the Jerusalem Fund. Thank you, everybody. And I'll see you soon. Thanks, Vivian.
Thank you, Amer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amer.
Very well said. Thank you.
As always, we all needed a laugh. You know, times are so difficult. We look forward to laughing and evenings such as this. Thank you, Amer, for everything you do, not just only for the Jerusalem Fund, but for many, many other organizations out there. Thank you. Well, now we are going to have another lovely few minutes with Mona Miari. She was supposed to be here this evening. She unfortunately is not with us physically through the camera, but she has prepared a couple of very beautiful songs. Mona was with us before at a Jerusalem Fund Gala at Al Hamra Palace, where we had our last event in Chicago for the Palestine Diabetes Institute with Dr. Nasser Rustam, who's watching us this evening, a great supporter. You know, if times were normal, we would be at Al Hamra Palace again. Thank you, Dr. Rustam, for all you do. Again, Mona, I heard her for the first time. She graced the stage of Al Hamra Palace. She has the voice of an angel. She came with her parents, again, parents that have been passionate about working for Palestine. Sohail Maari and her mother, Fayrouz, thank you. You have a beautiful daughter with a beautiful voice, and we want to share that voice with you this evening.
موطني الجمال والجلال والثناء والبهاء في رباه والحياة والنجاة والهناء والرجاء في هواه هل أراك سالما منعما وغانما مكرما سالما منعما وغانما مكرما هل أراك في علاك تبلغ سماك موطني الشباب لن يكل همه أن يستقل أو يبيد نستقي من الردى ولن نكون للعدا كالعبيد لا نريد ذلنا المؤبدا وعيشنا المنكدا ذلنا المؤبدا وعيشنا المنكدا لا نريد بل نعيد مجدنا التليد موطني موطني. أهو ده اللي صار وادي اللي كان مالكش حق مالكش حق تلوم علي. أهو ده اللي صار وادي اللي كان مالكش حق مالكش حق تلوم علي. تلوم علي ازاي يا سيدنا وخير بلادنا ماهوش في ايدنا. تلوم علي ازاي يا سيدنا وخير بلادنا ماهوش في ايدنا. قولي عن اشياء تفيدنا وبعدها بلوم علي. اهو ده اللي صار وادي اللي كان مالكش حق مالكش حق تلوم علي. أهو ده اللي صار. يما ويل الهوى يما ويليا ضرب الخناجر وانا حكم النادل فيا. يما ويل الهوى يما ويليا ضرب الخناجر وانا حكم النادل فيا. ومشيت تحت الشتاء والشتاء رواني والصيف لما أتى ولع مني راني. بيضل عمر فدا ندر للحرية. يما ويل الهوى يما ويليا ضرب الخناجر وانا حكم النادل فيا. برودة الجبل أعلى من العالي مفتاح درب الأمل والأمل برجالي. يا شعبنا يا بطل افتيك بعيني. يما ويل الهوى يما ويليا ضرب الخناجر وانا حكم النادل فيا.
That was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Mona, for taking us on a brief journey to Palestine this evening with your beautiful and truly angelic voice. I want to thank the Jerusalem Fund from the bottom of my heart for giving me the opportunity to be the MC this evening. This is an organization that is very near and dear to my heart and does exceptionally good work on the ground in Palestine. I want to close out the evening by introducing a gentleman who I introduced briefly by name only and did not do him justice because I knew he was going to give the closing remarks and would be introduced at this time. And that is the chairman of the board of the Jerusalem Fund, a doctor, a humanitarian, a father, a husband, someone who was respected from east coast to west coast and from the north to the south, here in the United States and abroad, for all the good work he's been doing, especially with the Jerusalem Fund over the many, many years past. Please help me welcome Dr. Subhi Ali.
Thank you, Vivian. Thank you, Vivian, for those great remarks. As some say, I wish my mother was here to hear them. I would like to thank all our sponsors whose names you have been watching on the sidebar and will be in the YouTube that will be available immediately after this program, and they will be on our website. I hope that you will reflect on what you heard this evening from Doctors Eid and Muhayya, two of who have been with this project since the first moment and have made many trips to Palestine specifically for the sake of the PDI. They have done a fantastic job, literally, in bringing the three centers that we have to reality and to creation. I know that for the sponsors, I know that I don't have to do any introduction to the Jerusalem Fund, and they have been helping us for a very long time. For those who are here for the very first time or seeing this YouTube presentation for the first time, I believe that when you reflect on what you heard, you will elect to join us and be a friend of the Jerusalem Fund and a supporter for the Palestine Diabetes Institute. We have three brothers and sisters who have helped us this evening. They have done a fantastic job. Thank you, Vivian, for the excellent job that you have done. Thank you, Amer, for the excellent remarks, jokes, real stories, and political insights, actually, that you have introduced. And definitely to Mona for her beautiful voice. I just want everybody to know that when we asked those three volunteers for their help, they did not hesitate a fraction of a second to say yes and give the performance that you have seen. I hope that next year we will have this celebration of our 44th anniversary in person, where we have been having them for several years, and that everybody will be safe. Please be safe, and good night. Thank you.